Hi, this is Ali Arango of ArangoDigitalProduction.com, and today I want to show you how to model a T-Rex inside of Blender. So let's get started. Okay, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, Input, and choose Select with Left. Blender's default select is with right, and this might confuse you if you're coming from other 3D programs or Adobe software. Okay, there's two main modes that you use to model in Blender. One is object mode. If you look right here, you can see we're in object mode now. And object mode basically allows you to move entire objects. For this tutorial, most of our time is going to be spent inside of edit mode. So you can just select here and go to edit. You can also hit tab to go there. The main way you maneuver the view inside of Blender is if you hold the middle mouse button, as I'm doing now, you can maneuver, zoom around your cube or whatever you're looking at. If you hold shift and the middle mouse button and drag, you can, pan your view around. If you hit the main way, we're probably we'll be using holding the middle mouse button and also on your keyboard all the way to the right, your number keypads. If you hit 1, you go into front view. If you look right here, you can see we're in front perspective view. If you hit the 5 on your number keypad, it puts you in front orthographic view. An orthographic view is just a view where you look straight on at something, kind of the closest view you can get in Blender to a 2D view. If you hit 3, it takes you into right perspective. If you hit 7, it takes you over top. For now, you're just going to hit 3 and go to right orthographic perspective. In Blender, you can either select by just left clicking with something, and basically what we're going to be selecting here in Blender, or actually in pretty much any 3D program, is either vertices, which you can select right here, edges, which you can select right here, or faces, which you can select right here. Typically, as we're going through this model, sometimes we'll want to just select one part, or the visible part. And if I click right here where I'm face select, I click right here, you can see we just selected this face right here, but not this face right here. I'm going to hit 3 on the number keypad just to go back. Sometimes what you want to do is, and I'll show you here, if you click vertice, sometimes you want to click more than one vertice. So if I click how this how the cube is now in this viewpoint, if I click right here, again, you can see I selected this vertice here. If I hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side, you can see these vertices here aren't selected. So I'm going to hit 3 on my number keypad to get back to that view again. To grab this vertice and this vertice here at the same time, hitting 3 again. If I hit the Z key, if I hit A to deselect everything, and then B to box select, which is what I'm doing now, and I click, hold, and drag. Now, because we're in transparent mode and we got there by hitting Z, now you can see that both of these sides are selected. Hitting 3 to go back again. Okay, with that basic explanation out of the way, what we're going to do now is you're going to hit E to extrude on the Y-axis. You're then going to hit R to rotate. We're just getting that generally to point straight down. Using your manipulator, push it down. You're going to hit E to extrude again, about to here. Just hitting my middle mouse button to roll out. I'm going to hit R to rotate just a little bit, and I'm going to hit A to deselect there, B to box select. And the main reason why you'll constantly, or you'll see me box selecting a lot, is because when I'm about to box select this vertice right here, I'm not going just for one vertice, even though it looks like that. I'm going to go ahead and do a box select on this vertice. If I turn to the side with holding my middle mouse button, that's why, because I'm trying to grab both of these vertices at the same time. So let me go back to 3. Even though here it looks, like a 2D mode, it looks like it's just one vertice. It's really 2. But anyway, I'm going to grab this and pull this back just a little bit. I'm going to hit A to deselect all of them, hit B to box select, take the manipulator and pull in just a little. Okay, I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm going to hit B to box select and grab these vertices right here. I'm going to hit E to extrude, about to here. I'm going to hit R to rotate, just like that. You're basically making a C shape here. I'm going to hit E to extrude on the Y axis, right there. And let me grab, holding my middle mouse button and shift, that's to pan in. I'm gonna box select, hit B to box select these two, and I'm just gonna hit S to scale on the Z axis just to pull those in a little bit. Hitting A to deselect. And I'm gonna do a couple little box selects real quick here and adjust these vertices. And A to deselect, B to box select. And again, the reason why I'm box selecting is, just to grab pretty much whenever we're working here. I'm actually grabbing two vertices here. B to box select all of these and just pull them in a little bit. And A to deselect, B to box select. Pull this up a little bit. A to deselect. Hit B to box select these two. I'm gonna hit S to scale on the Z axis. Okay, and we have our good kind of C looking starting point there. There's a tutorial, 2D tutorial, no video on CG Tuts, and this tutorial is based on that. It's a pretty good tutorial. Typically my models are fairly low poly since I make them generally to animate them, but anyway, you're going to hit A to deselect here. You're going to hit B to box select. You're going to grab these vertices right here and just take your manipulator and push out. You're then going to hit A to deselect, B to box select, grab these. Looks like I'm grabbing two, but again, I'm grabbing four actually. And just push this forward here. Okay, now I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm going to hit B to box select these. Again, four vertices. Looks like two, but it's four. I hit S to scale. Now I hit Z to make it go on the Z axis, and now I'm just pushing the mouse to bring that in closer. Left clicking to lock in. Okay, now what we're going to do is hit A to deselect. Remember I told you all the way to the right are your number keypads. 1 is front, 3 is side, 7 is top view. So we're going to hit 7 on the number keypad to go in the top view. I'm going to hold shift, hold my middle mouse button just to pan this into right in the center of the screen. Now what you're going to do is extremely useful if you're brand new to Blender. You'll probably use this a lot. Hit Control R, and what this does is this brings up the loop cut tool, and you just, when you move your mouse, as you move over the top of this this model we're working on, you'll see it adjust to where you move it. You want it directly in the center. You left click to lock it in, and basically, oh crap. Okay, that looks exactly the center. You know what? Let me hit Control Z just to make sure, because basically what's going on here, like you want to, this right here is your 3D cursor. You want this 3D cursor to be exactly in the center for what we're about to do here. And what we're about to do is to mirror. When we mirror this, basically what it's going to do is cut our work down in half. However, for this to mirror correctly, you need this point to be exactly in the center. So suppose while you were doing this, you got this point off. Like I'll right click here, that makes it over there. If I try to do this next part, the mirror modifier, everything will be messed up there. So what I do is hit Shift C. It puts it directly center here. As long as it's directly in the center, we won't have any problems. When I first started modeling, I didn't understand. It gave me all kinds of problems. But anyway, I'm going to hit Control R again, right to the center, and then I'm going to left click again. You want that exactly in the center. Now you're going to hit A to deselect. Then I'm going to hit B for box. Oops. I'm going to go down here. Remember, we select by vertices, edges, and faces. I'm going to select faces. Come up here. I'm going to hit B to box select. Left clicking, dragging, and I'm actually going past that center line. You see that a little bit? Because I'm on faces, it'll still only grab that side right there. I'm going to hit X to delete, bring up the delete menu, and then I'm going to select faces to get rid of there. And again, you see here's the side right here. You can see the 3D cursor, which this mirror modifier we're about to apply is based on. So it's directly in the center as it should be. So now what we're going to do is, and I just left clicked and drag this out to the side. You're going to click this little wrench, which brings up your add modifier menu. You're going to select here, and you're going to go to mirror. Extremely useful modifier in Blender. This is, if you're new to Blender, you'll probably be using this a lot. So you're just going to left click, and what that did is it put up like this kind of like ghost looking thing right here. That's the mirror modifier working. And then what you want to do is click here, clipping, which keeps this from pulling apart, and that's another story. But if you click here, see how it's ghost looking kind of there? You click here, and now it makes it look like that modifier is applied, or that it's an actual, another side. But anyway, what you're going to do now is you're going to hit A to select all. Then you're going to hit S to scale on the X-axis, and you're going to pull to about here. Need it to be a little bit wider, so I'm actually going to left click. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X-axis again. So we want it to actually about here. Now you're going to hit A to deselect. You're going to go to your vertices select here. You're going to hit B to box select. Normally, because we're in edit mode, don't worry about this light, even if yours ends up looking like mine. Because we're inside of edit mode, we can only deal with this this cube right now. So anyway, what you're going to do now is you are going to hit R to rotate. Just turn to the side like this. Then you're going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis like this. You're going to take your manipulator here, and you're just going to push this into the side just a little bit. Let's hit R to rotate a little bit more like that. And now you can hold your middle mouse button. We'll just turn to get a look at this thing. We'll hit Z to make it solid again. And now what we're going to want to do is, we're on vertices select right now. We're going to go to edge select. We're going to select right here. Take our manipulator and just push in a little bit like this. Same thing right here. Selecting this edge, and we're just going to push in a little bit just like that. Okay, now you're just going to select this edge right here. Just pull up the manipulator just slightly. You're now going to hold your middle mouse button and turn to the side. We're going to hit 3 on the number keypad actually. And if you look here, you can see we're in right orthographic mode. If it says right perspective, you hit 5 on your number keypad, it'll take you into orthographic mode. We're going to hit Z to go transparent, hit A to deselect, and we're on edge select now. We're going to go to vertices select, which is right here. Click there. You're going to hit B to box select, grab this first part of the face right here, and you're just going to drag forward like that. And hit A to deselect. Okay, remember I told you about Control R is the loop cut tool. We're about to do that here. So you're going to put your cursor right about here. You're going to hit Control R. Then you're going to see that one loop cut appeared right there. You're going to roll your mouse wheel up. 1, 2. Because when you pull back and roll, it takes it away. When you go up, roll it up, it adds. You want 3 loop cuts there. You're going to left click to lock in, left click again. Then you're going to come down here. You're going to hit Control R right over there. You're going to roll for 3 again right there, and left click to lock in, left click again to lock in. I'm going to hit A to deselect. Okay, now I'm actually going to hit B to box select right here. I'm just going to make this a little bit more prominent here. Hit A to deselect, B to box select right here. You know what, I'll just pull it out like that and leave it like that. Down here. Okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to hit A to deselect, hit B to box select, and you're going to grab these vertices right here. Again, it looks like 2, it's actually 4. If I spun it, you could see, but anyway, you're just going to take your manipulator and pull up like this. You're going to hit A to deselect, B2 for box select, and grab these 2. You're going to pull down just slightly like there. Hit A to deselect, B2 for box select yet again, and you're going to pull down right here. A to deselect, B for box select. You're going to pull up right here like that. I'm going to hit A to deselect, B to box select. I'm going to grab this whole row right here and pull down like that. The way I typically go about my modeling is I tend to look at everything kind of like a sketch. I try to get the basic shape in there. Then once that's in there, we can always come back and refine later, and that's what I would recommend for you to do also. Just as a general way of thinking as far as modeling. But anyway, you're going to hit Z to go solid. I'm just going to hold my middle mouse button and look around this a little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is hit let me hit 3 on my number keypad just to go back to right orthographic. Again, what you can see right there. We're going to use that loop cut again. So we're going to hit Control R. And as you move your loop cut, you know, you can see it adjust. You want it to be right here. So you're going to left click one time, not two like before, just once. Because you don't want it to lock in. Because when you make a loop cut and you don't lock it in, as I call it, you click one time, then a second time. I mean, before you click the second time, you can move it. So what you're going to do is I'm just moving the mouse. All right. To just get it a little bit closer like this. Now I'm left clicking to lock in. So again, loop cut one time, Control R. Sets the loop cut. Normally, before every time you go back in the video, you'll see we hit it twice. This time we did it once, then we moved the mouse, then we left click to lock in. So now I'm going to hold my middle mouse button, turn to, so I can see this from the front, and okay, I'm going to hit A to actually deselect, and you know what? I'm just going to hit select my edges right here. I'm going to hold shift. Shift, like most programs, allows you to select more than one thing at a time. If this manipulator gets in your way, by the way, like if you go to click and it's in the way, you hit Control Space, it temporarily takes it away. You hit Control Space, it brings it back again. Just so you know, it is definitely useful because sometimes that'll frustrate you. But anyway, with this selected, I'm just going to pull here. Remember when we applied the mirror modifier and I told you how useful it was? See how we just selected here? Because it has the mirror modifier, it automatically selects this side. So you see that? Whenever I pull here, it does on the other side. So mirror modifier is a beautiful thing. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to hit A to deselect. You're going to go to your face select here. You're going to select here, hold shift, select here. This is very useful. You use this a lot in mirror and in modeling, what we're about to do. You're going to hit E to extrude, and then don't pull, don't push, left click to lock in. Basically what happened is we just created new geometry here, even though it doesn't look like it. Because that new geometry is here, we're able to scale in and form this eye socket shape. And you'll see it here. I hit S to scale, pull in, and there you can see basically the reason why we were able to do that without all of this just pulling in is because we extruded it first, didn't move anywhere, locked it in, and then scaled it in. But anyway, we're going to hit E to extrude just to push this in a little bit. Okay. Now you're going to we're going to hit A to deselect. You're going to hit Control R to put a loop cut just right there. You're going to left click to lock in, left click to lock in again. Now you're just going to turn to the front, just holding my middle mouse button. I'm going to hit Control R to put yet another loop cut. Left click to lock in, left click to lock in again. And now we're on a loop cut. Automatically put us, I believe, on edge select. If not, you just select edge here, select here, hold shift, and select here, and then here, and you're just going to pull up just a little bit to round that, the head part out a little bit right there. Now I'm just holding my middle mouse button, turning to the side here. And what you want to do is go to your vertices, select. You want to select these 3 vertices right here. So I select it there because the mirror is on. It automatically selected over there. I'm going to hold shift, select right here, and now I'm going to hit X to open my delete menu, and I am going to select vertices. If you didn't select vertices, it probably didn't select as much as it should have. Vertices will make it select this, give you this whole nice big section right here. By selecting delete vertices anyway. What you're going to do here is you're just going to just push this up a little bit. We're just rounding this out just slightly. So a lot of modeling you'll see is just pushing and pulling vertices out. So we're just pushing this out just to get rid of that squarish shape a little bit. Now what you're going to do is go back to edge select. You're going to hold Alt. When you hold Alt and you're on edge select, when I click right here, you see what it did? It just grabbed this entire loop right here, which is exactly what we want. Holding my middle mouse button, just turning to the side. Now I'm hitting E to extrude and just pulling back. Not on any axis, just letting it go, diagonal itself right there. Now I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis with the 0 at the top of the keyboard. And then I'm left clicking to lock in, and this just flattens this out. I'm going to go to my vertice select, and I'm just going to pull these up again, just trying to make it a little bit more circular. Okay, now what I'm going to do is hit edge select again. I'm going to hold Alt, click right here on this edge again. I'm actually going to hit S to scale on the Z axis just a little bit up. I mean, pulled it a little bit up on the Z axis. So now what you're going to do is hit E to extrude on the Y axis. Bring it out like that. And then you're going to hit S to scale and just make it go in just a little teeny bit. With that edge loop still selected, you're going to hit E to extrude on the Y axis. Bring it out just a little bit more, about like that. You're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. And typically, again, when you're modeling, you're going to be on side to back or side to front. I'm going to actually just push this down just a little. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis to make it a little teeny bit up more. This is actually a little bit longer than what I wanted, so what I can do to easily adjust this part is a little bit longer than what I wanted. What I can do to easily adjust that is I just hit Z. I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm going to actually go to here for vertice select. I'm going to hit B to box select. I'm going to grab all this, and just by grabbing that, I can just pull and push this in, automatically make that a little bit shorter. I'm actually going to hit R to rotate and turn this down just a little bit. Take my manipulator, just aim it down just a little bit like that. I'm going to hit Z to bring solid again. Now I'm going to hit go back to edge select. I'm going to hold Alt and reselect this edge right here. And this is a good time to look around, and you can see this is starting to get, because I didn't look down on it, started getting a little bit out of control. So what I can do is hit hold Alt right here, look from the top, and I'll just hit S to scale on the X axis, and that'll actually just bring that in a little bit. Same thing here, hold Alt with the edge select, selects the entire loop, and hit S to scale on the X axis, bring that in some. I think that I want it there. Yeah, I'm gonna hit hold Alt, select right here, and it did. You know what? I'll leave that right there. Sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time, you need a pretty decent loop cut. That's why when I select it here, because it's a little bit modified too much, it didn't select all the way around. But for now, that's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and hit with the edge selected, hold Alt, and select right here. And now you're just going to keep, we're just going to extrude again. So we're going to extrude just like that. And actually not too long. So I'm left clicking to lock in. Now I'm hitting S to scale to make it wider. I'm just going to look to the top of the C. So I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis on the top just slightly. Holding my middle mouse button just to turn. And this loop right here is actually where the first arm is actually going to come out. So anyway, I'm going to hit S to scale, no axis, just pulling it out like this. About like that. I'm going to hit, if I said S to scale, I meant like E to extrude. Now we're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. Now we'll look from the top, hit S to scale on the X axis. Alright, so then again, E to extrude, no axis, we're just dragging out, letting it go where it goes as we direct it. Look from the top, that's fine for that one. So yeah, this should be the arm here, and this is stomach, or stomach, chest, whatever. Now this part's going to be like the leg part, so we're going to hit E to extrude. Like that, hit S to scale on the Z axis. And we'll hit S to scale on the X axis from the top. And then we'll hit E to extrude again, pull back. S to scale on the Z axis, pull it in just a little bit, go from the top. S to scale on the X axis, like that. Okay, and you're just going to hit E to extrude again, pull back again. Left click to lock in, S to scale on the Z axis. Look at the top, S to scale on the X axis. And you can kind of see how we're always kind of looking top to side. You're always going to be switching your views around in 3D. Now I'm just I went to vertices select and I'm just pushing in just slightly with these vertices because I'm trying to get a little bit squarish on me. And now I'm just going to hit edge select again, hold Alt, select here again. I'm going to hit E to extrude. This time I'm going to do it on the Y axis because I actually a second ago tried to do it and I had came back in the video because it messed up. So this I'm going to purposely extrude. It's going to look a little bit weird on the Y axis. And then what I'm going to do is hit Alt M. This brings up the merge menu. When this merge menu comes up, you're going to go down to collapse and select collapse. Your tail is going to split basically right here into those two things. You're going to go to vertices select. When you select vertices, it's automatically going to grab the two vertices of here. Because we're in a mirror modifier, you're just going to take your manipulator, push together for the tail. You're then going to hit A, and because of this clipping with the mirror modifier, you'll be fine. The tail will be fine. And we can see how the tail looks weird there. We can just hit Control R. Oops, I'm wrong. Hit right click, or don't select, hit A to deselect. Because of the way we form this, we can't have loop cuts. It won't let us put loop cuts. So the way you get by that is you just make sure you're on the edge select here, right? And now you just take this and pull this down and then scale this. So even though this won't let us, this will. So now we just replace that loop cut. And if you're in a situation like that, that's what you would do, is just pull down. Again, this wouldn't let us get edge loop, so we pulled this edge loop down, and now we can make an edge loop here, another one there, whatever we need. Okay, we actually are going to make this tail longer, so what we're going to do is hit A to deselect. We're going to hit Z for transparency to make sure we grab everything. We're going to hit B for box select. We're going to grab this whole part of the tail right there. Now we're just going to pull that just like that. Don't worry about it looking straight like that. It's fine. We're going to hit A to deselect, hit Control R, roll the mouse wheel, and just like that. And now, see how straight and weird it looks? Now, to fix that, all we have to do is we're going to hit A to deselect. We're still on edge select, so we hold Alt, grab right here, and we can just, push, hold Alt. It'll select that whole loop, and, just make it so the tail doesn't look inorganic almost. I'm just hitting Alt and grabbing these loops and pushing down, and we can adjust it even more later on. Matter of fact, when I'm holding Alt, and I'm to select that edge loop. Now I'm just hitting S to scale on the X axis. I'm gonna grab this loop right here. I'm holding Alt, grabbing that loop. I'm hitting S to scale on the X axis. Same thing, Alt, grabbing the loop just by selecting it, hitting S to scale on the X axis. And I'm just going right down the line. Whoops. See, I grabbed the wrong loop. That's what happened there. And I'm hitting S to scale on the X axis again. And sometimes if it starts getting weird, like mine is getting a little bit weird, one of the things you can do is, like when I'm trying to scale basic, I'm going to hit Z to go out of transparency. Because we're in a mirror modifier and I want to make this in, and it's like fighting against me a little bit, if I grab these loops right here, just as edge, I can actually take the manipulator and just push like this. And the reason why it's shrinking, if you're wondering, is because of the mirror modifier. I'm just taking advantage of it. I'm actually going to hit A to scale, hit C to bring up my paint select, and I'm still on edge select, so I'm just crap. See how it selected these things I didn't want? When you have paint select with C, you just hold down the middle mouse button, and it'll take away the edge loops that you don't want. Yeah. Paint select probably wasn't the best option. I'm holding shift. Oh, that's right. It's a mirror modifier. Okay. So I'm just going to push in here a little bit. And we'll come back to the tail later on. Yeah, it's going to bother me here. I'm just going to grab here and just push that down just slightly. There you go. Okay, now we're gonna start adding the legs in. And so basically, as you're doing this, remember, so it's 2 down from the neck. So here's like the beginning part. So after there should be 2 sections. Here's an arm here. The first arm should come out here. Then it should be like chest, stomach area, and then right here should be where the leg is coming out. So basically, where you know what line to select. An easy way to remember, if you want to do this by memory for yourself, is see this edge right here from the mouth. This is like this trapezoid thing. Remember the original C we started with? If you look right here, this line rides right to the leg we need. So it's 2 sections here, the arm, 2 sections here, and then here's where we want the leg at. So we want edge select, which we're on right there. So we just select right here. And once you have this selected, what you want to do is hit X, and you want to delete edges. And you want that nice big space right there. If you didn't delete by edges, I believe if you do vertices it doesn't work right. You definitely want to make sure you hit delete it by edges like I showed you right there. And now what you want to do, still with your edge select on, you want to select this edge right here. Let me zoom in so you can see it better. Holding shift, middle mouse button just to pan, hold shift to select this edge also. And what you're going to do is hit E to extrude on the X axis, just about that far. Left click to lock in. Then you can hit S to scale on the Y axis, and it'll pull these edges toward each other, which you definitely want. Okay, with those selected, you're just going to hit F to fill that area in between there. Still with edges selected, you're going to select, here, this edge, hold shift, this edge, and this edge, and hit F to fill. Now you want to I'm going to grab this vertex right here and just push this down just a little bit. Anyway, now what you want to do is you want to hit I'm going to hit A to deselect, get off that vertex. I'm going to hit Control R to put a loop cut in, and you want a loop cut right here. And basically, like I was saying kind of in the beginning, you want to have your basic shape in. Once you have your basic shape in, you can play with it a little bit. This loop cut here is important because it's actually, even though it's all the way at the top of the leg, it's actually going to set up later on for the claws to come in. Okay, now we're going to hit A to deselect. We're going to go back to edge select, and what we're going to do is select this whole loop right here. So you're going to hold Alt, grab that whole, by hitting Alt, you should have grabbed this whole loop right here. You're going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis, dragging this whole part down just like there. And you're actually going to hit S to scale on the Z axis, and then you're going to hit 0 on your number keypad. And that's very useful for in here, and also just remember it tends to make things flat, so it's useful. This next thing is the loop tool, I believe. And to make sure you have this, like if you're new to Blender, to this next part, and it's quick, but basically you have to go to File. If you don't have it set up already, File, User Preferences. You go to Add-ons. Just scroll down in the add-ons, and this is like a bunch of cool things that are in Blender that you can click and add on, and you won't see them unless they're clicked on. That's it. So this right here, Mesh Loop Tools, make sure this is clicked. And basically with this loop selected, remember how we manually tried to make the neck part circular? With this, what we can do is just hit W to bring up our special menu, and as long as we have that thing, the user preferences, click the loop tools, we can see that's up here. Come over here and we can hit circle, and you see that it automatically makes it circular for us, which is very cool. And again, our main thing is we want to get the basic shape, and we can always come back and play a little bit later. Let me just push this up just slightly actually, and what we're going to do here is let me hit S to scale on the Z axis and hit 0. Okay, it's flat. I guess it's the angle I have it on. So we're going to hit E to extrude on the no axis. I'm just pulling it down, left clicking to lock in. Actually, may push this forward a little bit. This is kind of like basically the thigh area. Actually, let me grab this loop cut right here, and I'm just going to do that by holding Alt. Because I didn't hold shift, that's why it deselected here it was selected on here. I hit Alt. Because I wasn't holding Shift, it automatically selected here. And actually, I just want to push this loop cut up a little bit and adjust that. And I'm going to hold Alt here, and you'll see it'll jump from that selection to right here. I'm just going to put this up a little bit. We generally want this thigh section to have 2 sections in it before it gets to like the knee area. So now we're going to E to extrude on the Z axis. That. Pull this back just here. Okay, S to scale on the Z axis. Whoops, sorry, on the Y axis. Like that. Then we're going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis. Take the manipulator and pull back just a little bit. Like that. And you generally don't want to make the mistake like I was as focusing on the side here, because I can bet money when I turn to the front, and sure enough it looks kind of whacked out. And you got to constantly look from front to side, but we can adjust it because we have our loop cut here selected already. So we'll hit S to scale on the X axis. So we'll take it in like that. Zoom it in a little bit so you can see it better. I'm going to hold Alt, select right here, S to scale on the X axis. Same thing here, hold Alt, select here, S to scale on the X axis. I'm going to hold Alt here, see if it actually went all the way. It looks like it did. S to scale on the X axis. I was looking to see if it went all the way around the other side. I'm actually going to grab here again, make this even smaller. I just scaled no axis there. I'm holding Alt, S to scale no axis, and Alt right here, S to scale no axis. And yeah, we'll play with it once it's done. So this is generally the thigh. Here's kind of like the knee area. So now what we're gonna do is hit A to deselect. We're gonna hold Alt to select this loop right here, and push that forward a little bit. We're not gonna S to scale on the Y axis. Now we're gonna do is hit E to extrude on the Z axis and come down fairly far like that. Actually, I'm wrong, too far. Hit S to scale on the Y axis. Now, like I should have done before, looking to the front, I just held my mouse button to turn to the front. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis. There we go. That's how it should be. Front to side, S to scale on the Y axis. And now we're going to form like this joint for the angle here. So E to extrude on the Z axis. And then we're going to hit R to rotate just slightly. E to extrude a little bit. Roll this in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to hit R to rotate a little bit like that. I'm going to hit hold Alt and select this. I'm going to actually S to scale on the Y axis. Slightly bigger anyway. Alt to skip. I'm getting myself confused. Okay. A to deselect. I'm going to hit Alt. Hold Alt. Select this edge right here. I'm going to hit E to extrude. Just letting it come almost straight out. It's a bit too much. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis 0 just to make that part flat. And I'm then going to hit S to scale and just make this part bigger. I'm going to hit A to deselect and hit Control R to put a loop cut in. Bring this loop cut down just a little bit. So I put the loop cut in, it formed. I didn't click a second time, which allows me to move up and down. I'm left clicking to lock in, left clicking again. This next part, I always thought this was kind of cool. Oh crap. For this part right here, make sure you're still in your edge select. Grab right here, hold Alt. And while holding Alt, select this edge right here. Now you're just going to hit F to fill. This I thought was kind of cool. You go to your face select, grab here. I'm holding Shift. And what you're going to hit here is you're going to do Alt E. And you'll see why we're going to do this in a second. You'll hit Alt E to bring up your extrude menu. You want to extrude from individual faces, and watch this. You click here, You see how it comes out like that? It looks weird, but that's just how you want it to be. All right. So it comes out like that. Now you want to do the same thing again. You left click to lock in that one time to get it where we're at this point. Now you're going to hit Alt E again, extrude individual faces. You're going to pull like this again. All right. And now what you're going to do is hit Alt M and collapse. All right. Don't click anything. Go right to your vertice select. When you click vertice select, you'll automatically see the claws there. Now you're just going to push straight down. And then you're going to push out. If you ever see this this manipulator, how like sometimes it'll well, maybe not. You're just going to push this out here, and we're just adjusting those claws there. Okay, now holding shift, middle mouse button, just panning down and zooming in. You want to be the fourth group of edge loops from the neck. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where you want the arm at, right here. And you want to be on your face select. You're going to select right here. You're going to hit X to bring up your delete menu. You're going to delete faces. Remember last time we deleted edges, but for this time it's faces. So you're going to go to edge. You're going to select right here, hold shift, select right here. You're going to hit E to extrude on the X axis. Left click to lock in. S to scale on the Y axis, and it's coming in a little bit funny, so I'm just going to grab this edge right here and just push straight down there. Now I'm going to hit I'm still on edge select, so I'm going to select this edge, hold shift, select this edge, hold shift, hit F to fill in. That's what F does. Now I'm just selecting this edge, holding shift, and while holding shift, selecting these 4 edges. Now I'm just hitting F to fill in. Now I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm hitting Control R for a loop cut. I'm going to put the loop cut right here. And now I'm just going to take my middle mouse button, roll around to see this part right here. I'm going to hit A to deselect here. Make sure I'm on edge select. Hold Alt to select all these loops right here. I'm now going to hit W to bring up my specials menu. Go to Loop Tools and Circle. And I'm going to hit E to extrude. No particular axis. I just brought that down. I'm taking my manipulator, pulling it out a little bit. I'm going to hit S to scale to bring it in. I'm just rolling, looking around like you should be when you're in 3D. And I'm going to hit E to extrude just to get this little joint part here. I'm going to hit R to rotate, no particular axis, just looking as I go along. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude again. That left click to lock in. And I see the arms are kind of long there, so I'm actually going to just push the manipulator up, pull back just a little bit, and I'm just doing that as a quick way to shorten it just a little. Now I'm going to hit S to scale, no particular axis. Then I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to hit Z while I'm extruding, actually. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis, 0. And then this little thing right here on the bottom, I'm going to hit F to fill that in. Now what I'm going to do is go to face select. Select both of these faces. I'm just going to hold shift. I'm going to hit Alt E to bring up my extrude menu, and I'm going to select individual faces. Very similar like we did before. Extrude out like that. Now we're going to do it again. Hit Alt E to bring up the extrude menu, individual faces yet again. And now what you're going to do is hit Alt M for collapse. Now without clicking anything around faces, you go to vertice. It'll be automatically be selected on those vertices, and you're just going to push straight down for your claws there. Okay, and now with everything pretty much formed, what we're going to do is hit A twice, select everything, then you're going to go to your modifier tab right here where the wrench is at. You're going to select here. I told you use mirror. As you learn Blender a lot, You're going to use a subdivision surface is another one that you'll tend to use a lot. So you're going to select right here, and you can see a subdivision smoothing out your model. You're going to take this view and click it up to 2. Now what you're going to do is click this little triangle looking thing right here, which makes it look like it's applied. And then you are going to hit W and select, which brings up your specials menu, and then select shade smooth. Okay, and with that on there, you see that is a fine looking T-Rex. That thing is fine. The head, the body, I mean, that looks like a T-Rex. No, I'm just kidding. It looks like a Barney salamander right now, but all the hard work is done. So what you're going to do is, or most of it, so what you're going to do now, this is the fun part of Blender. Now you're going to go into scope mode. So you're just going to click right there. In scope mode, the main tools we're going to be using is this grab tool, and we'll use a little bit of smooth right here. We will probably also use this pinch and magnify. So one of the first things we want to do in scope mode, and like I said, this is like the fun stuff right here. You'll notice that the front part of this of the head, it looks a lot like Barney, right? Because the subdivision surface basically smoothed everything out. So one of the things we want to do is be able to actually see the line. So what you can do is go right here, select here. We'll scroll down a little bit and click wire. You see how you can see all this, geometry, right? Go to your modifier, and if you look right where your subdivision is, you can select this right here, optimal display. Okay, and you can see with the optimal display, it's a lot less, a lot easier to deal with it like this. So what you're going to do now is just hit 3 on your number keypad. Just to roll my mouse wheel to zoom out a little bit. Okay, now we should be able to pretty easily push and pull this thing into shape. So the main thing we're going to be using is the grab tool. So we'll just zoom into the head right here, and I'm actually going to, with this grab tool, if you hit the F key and pull back, it gets bigger. So what I'm actually going to do is pull out this front face right here, and when it's bigger and you're zoomed in, it's not too hard to do that. We can go backwards and forwards inside, backwards and forwards from the scope mode to the edit mode. So I'm going to hit the edit mode, hit A to deselect, hit Z to go into transparency mode. Now I'm going to hold control and my right mouse button. I'm going to loop, draw right around the head, and what I'm going to do is rotate. Actually, make sure your proportional edit tool is turned on. So you're going to hit circle to turn it on, then R to rotate, and there's that circle there is the area of influence. I'm rolling my mouse wheel just to get it bigger than the head. I'm going to turn the head down kind of like that. Then when I click right here, go back to scope mode. So one of the things we can do is like this T-Rex brow right here. We can easily, I'm going to hit F and push in just to make it a little bit smaller. Now I'm holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm just going to pull this brow out to the side some. And I'm going to hit F, pull back, and I'm going to lift up this whole brow up slightly higher. This whole bottom mouth part, we can just easily grab, pull this out, make this thicker. Again, this, oops, you can, it's very cool, the scope tool. I mean, you can pretty easily, you got to be careful that you don't go too crazy, but like this part right here, how it's too thin, there's kind of like this almost, let's we're gonna go into scope edit mode. So we'll just click here to go to edit. I'm gonna hit A to deselect, Z to go into transparency mode. I'm holding control and the right mouse button. It's let me draw this lasso. And now with this selected here, we can click right here temporarily, turn on this 3D cursor, click right here, and basically what's going on is I turn the pivot point. This is a pivot point for this 3D cursor. So when I put the 3D cursor here, this entire jaw will pivot right from here. So I'm just going to rotate. I'm going to roll my mouse wheel in. I hit R, so I rolled it in for the area of influence there. So now I'm just doing that just to open it. Matter of fact, I'm going to right click because it's grabbing the top part of the mouth, which I don't want. So I can click here. There's another part of the proportional edit called connected edit, and it won't touch that top part. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm gonna hit R to rotate. Now you can see there's that bottom jaw is opening up, and it'll give us more room to play in scope mode as far as dealing with this right here. Okay, and I'm actually going to do the same thing to the top jaw. So I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm holding Control and my right mouse button and just dragging around here. So now I'm going to take this pivot point, which is right there, the 3D cursor. Now I'm putting it here, so it will pivot. That upper jaw will pivot. Now I'm just turning this up like that. Now we'll go into, I'm going to turn this back. Blender's default pivot point is median. So now it's back to that. So now we're going to click this and go into scope mode. Okay, and here in scope mode, we can get this thing actually looking like it's supposed to look. So the nose is kind of thin. So with the grab brush selected, we can just grab here and make this thicker, make this brow thicker here. And if see how right there, it's this is a little bit too big. This area of influence, just hit F. Push in. Actually, I made it too small, so you know T-Rexes have that one of the things that probably makes them look so cool, that very crazy brow look. Hit Z. Much better. So yeah, this whole thing needs to be thicker. And in scope mode, you can very easily adjust things. Like here's the jaw here. This right here needs to be. It's like this thing comes up. The right behind there is kind of like a bump. I just looked at YouTube, see what they had, and this whole part right here needs to be thicker. I'm just gonna grab this, quickly pull down. Make this part thicker there. The arm, just push up a little bit. This whole leg part needs to be much thicker, so we can just grab, quickly pull out like that. Pull it up. And you can see in here, it's just a lot very, you can very quickly, you can shape like the tail. We can just quickly grab here, and the tail is, thin looking. Grab this tail part, and now it's starting to look a lot more T-Rex like. Actually, we'll go back in the scope edit mode, grab the entire thing, and this will work because we're in because we have a mirror modifier on. See how thin the snout is? It's way too thin. So what we can do is, because this is actually technically half, like if I sit there and I go, here's the mirror modifier, if you click this, you can actually see what is actually there, and it's just half of it. The other half is a modifier, but because this clipping is on when I pull, here what it'll do is it'll make the T-Rex, just as you can see, just thicker. A fairly easy way to do it. And then we'll just look at the tail, we can see how that, and then we'll go right back into scope mode. And again, we can use the mirror to our advantage to thicken things up. Yeah, the scope mode is a lot of times I'm like, this thing is just fun. Okay, we'll zoom in to this eye, and you can see in the scope you tend to use the grab tool a lot. Pull that brow out a little bit more. And you can see how we have these where the wire actually helps out, because we know, like, sometimes in scope you'll go to grab and nothing will happen. But while you have this wire on, you can pretty much see when you're able to grab, and when you can and when you can't grab. I'm just trying to make it a little bit meaner there. Again, this is a basic. My goal with this tutorial, like usual, is to teach you the basic. So you can get your basic design down, and then you can, go on from there. You'll definitely, most of the time you'll get what you put into it, and if you spend, the more time you spend, the better it'll look. I know this tutorial is already going on for a while, so we'll go to the mouth. Okay, and we're just going to click here, go back to edit mode. We'll zoom in to the mouth here. With A to deselect, and we're just going to go to face select. I'm holding shift. I'm just selecting all these faces right here. We're going to do you want to make sure you grab all these faces all the way to the back there. Remember, when we push this eye in, this is going to be a similar thing to that. What you're going to do is hit E to extrude, left click to lock in. Then you're going to hit, actually make sure this proportional edit tool is off. So I'm going to hit circle, then circle again. There we go. All right, and I'm going to hit S to scale. I'm going to hit E to extrude on the no axis, and I'm just going to push down like that. And you can actually push down. See how it's going to the bottom? That's fine because I didn't click. So you can actually push down. That way you know how far you're going, and you just bring it back up so it's in there. Make sure it's not coming through, which it isn't. And then we're just going to do the same thing to the top. Just select these. Just selecting all of these faces here. Actually, these two. Then we're going to hit E to extrude without pushing or pulling anywhere. Left click to lock in. We created new geometry there like we did with the eye earlier. We're going to hit S to scale. So we're going to scale in like that. We actually want to push this back just a little bit. Now we're going to hit E to extrude, and we're no axis. We're just going to push up just like how we did on the bottom. You can take it actually up to the top, bring it back. That way you know pretty much where it's at. So now we know it's not coming out through anywhere. Okay, then we'll grab these two faces right here, or grab one, and mirror makes you grab the other one. You're just going to hit E to extrude, bring this up here like that. Left click to lock in. You're going to hit select here. I'm not sure what a T-Rex's tongue looks like, but we're just going to hit E to extrude and bring this out just like that. And just grab this face. We'll push this together some. Like I said, I'm not sure what his tongue looks like, but there's a tongue if you want one. We actually can put I'm going to hit Control R, put a loop cut in that tongue. Make sure I'm selected on faces there, and just pull the tongue up a little bit. I'll thin it out. Something there. We actually can grab these faces here, make that thinner there, and at the same time to grab these. Actually, I'm going to grab the vertice right there and pull up a little bit, and not get carried away with that. See this vertice coming through right here? You can see, like, actually I thought there wasn't sure. Just to be sure, I'm going to hit a face right here. I'm just going to pull in just a little bit just to make sure nothing's coming through that wall right there. Okay, and very quickly, holding shift just with the middle mouse button to pan up. And I'm going to hit 1 on the number keypad to go front, so I know where this cursor's at. And I'm going to hit 3 on the number keypad to go to the side, holding shift in the mouse pan. Wow, jumped that far, huh? So here. So now the cursor should actually be there. So now what we're going to do is hit Shift A. I'm going to put in a plane. Plane just popped up there, so we'll hit R to rotate on the x-axis with 90 degrees. So there's a plane. The reason why the plane looks funny like that is because it the subdivision surface. So we're just gonna hit R to rotate it. We're gonna hit R to rotate on the z-axis. Now I just hit R to rotate, and the rotation will kind of adjust like with your view. Like sometimes you'll just rotate and you can just look and see what's going on. Anyway, now what we're going to do is hit, I'm actually going to hit Control R and put a loop cut in there. I'm going to drag this loop cut up, and then I'm going to hit this for vertice. I'm going to take these vertices here. I'm holding shift. I just held shift and selected both of them. I'm going to hit S to scale on the y-axis. The heck? Okay, that didn't work. You know what? I'm going to hit Alt M, and that brings up the merge select. I'm going to hit collapse, and now I'm just going to shaping it. I've always thought that blunt teeth. I know T-Rex's teeth are like razor sharp. Are supposed to be razor sharp. That is, if they don't look like chickens. I guess even if they do look like that. Let me stop. Anyway, I'm gonna grab the faces here. I'm just holding shift to select. I'm hitting E to extrude on no axis, just pulling out to get that some thickness there. Now I'm selecting the edge select. Grab this right here, that edge right there, and I'm just going to take this up. So we have a nice blunt looking thing, which blunt teeth, I don't know. Anyway, looks worse than sharp teeth, but just pushing that in. And now whenever you have something selected that you want to grab the entire thing, see I have this one face selected, I can hit Control L and it automatically grabs the entire thing. Like this is a separate object from it. This isn't a totally separate object, it's a part separate object from the mouth. Like we're in edit mode, so it's technically part of this, but physically it's not collected. So it's not connected, so I can hit Control L and it'll select the entire thing. Now I'm going to hit W, bring up the the specials menu, and I'm going to select shade smooth, just because when you bring something in new, it typically doesn't have the shade smooth on it. Okay, and now with that, all we're going to do is take this, position it so it's on the inside. Now I'm just going to hit Shift D to duplicate. Hit Shift D, duplicate again. Shift D to duplicate again, and I'm just moving by eye, and it might be messed up. Let's see. Nope, it's not bad. We'll just pull this in. We'll hit R to rotate, no axis. I'm gonna click here. See how I grab that face right there? If I hit Control L, it'll grab the entire thing. So now with the entire thing, I'll just pull this over to the side a little bit. Grab this, Control L to grab that entire thing, pull it to the side, and now I'm gonna hit Shift D to duplicate again. Push it in just a little bit. Shift D again. Push that in and back a little bit. Shift D to duplicate again. Push it down, pull it back a little bit. And again, trying to, long tutorial, so I'm just trying to get through this. Shift D again. And now what we're going to do, that we have all of those, teeth, not in the, most realistic way, but they're in there. So from a distance shot, they're all right. Okay, now with those teeth made, what I'm going to do is hold Shift, and I'm just holding Shift, and I'm just trying to get a piece of all of these. Whoops. You select something by accident, just keep holding Shift, click it again, you'll deselect it. Of all of these teeth here. And since I have this one face, now I should be able to hit Control L. Yep, and it worked. So now what I'm going to do is hit Shift D to duplicate all of them at the same time. Now I'm going to lift them up, left click. Actually, I messed up. I am sorry to frustrate you people. I have to hit X to delete all them because I made a mistake, and I selected all of them like they actually existed. So now I'm actually going to redo it. So I'm going to hold Shift. And again, what I'm doing is just grabbing any piece of these. And my mistake was I grabbed some of the ones that weren't real. The real ones go to here, and it automatically grabs the other ones. So now I'm going to hit Control L, which will grab all of the real ones. And then now what I'm going to do is hit Shift D, left click to lock in or duplicate it. So now I'm going to take them up like that. Now I'm going to hit R, X to rotate on the X axis, and I'm just going to flip these over like this. And then I'm going to hit R again to rotate on the Z axis. And it should, flip like that. Good. Is that right? That should be good, I think. Will that work? Yeah, well, that's fine. Now, I'm going to hit R and then X to rotate them up. I'm going to hit that's the scale on the X-axis. You can, that actually worked better than I thought. I'll just pull out, and again, the reason why pulling out is working is because it's on a mirror modifier. These ones right here, I'm just gonna manually, select, hit Control L, put these ones up and over. See that? You can see that Control L is very useful. So I'm gonna hit Shift to select that little piece right there. I'm on face select, Shift to select that little piece right there, hit Control L to grab the entire thing and just move these a little bit more into place. And these ones right here that are not in place, I'm just going to hold Shift. I'm just grabbing the face again on them, hit Control L, and I'm actually going to take these ones, pull them out here. See if I can use these as my front teeth. I'm going to hit X to delete them. Hit Control L, grab this right here. I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate and just put those right there. Matter of fact, I'm going to hit S to scale and the Z axis just a little teeny bit. And I'll use this, push that a little bit closer. I'm going to hit Shift D one more time. Just pull out right there. Okay, and it's depending on how much time you put into this, you'll get your results obviously are going to be better when you put Control L. Just don't want to leave off of that. Push that in there a little bit more. Yeah, the more time you put in, the better you'll better results you'll get. I just wanted to show you guys my version of how to get to a T-Rex. Like I said, try to get towards the basic shape. Once you have that basic shape, you can go into sculpt mode and play around. And I have another tutorial where I actually show you how to texture map if you want to check that out. And it's a pretty easy way of doing it. Okay, guys, that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you for sitting through this tutorial, my version of how to make a T-Rex. Thank you for supporting this video. Please like it, please share it, and as always, if you like these videos and you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.